So after that, we will store this ID to, let's say, request dot, we will store get ID from request of params dot ID, and after that we will const result will be equals to await to do dot delete or delete one with underscore ID as ID, and after getting deleted one we will res dot send result, and yeah, that's it. I think this should work now. Okay, so now let's first of all go to Postman, and from here send a get request to to-dos and get a object. So let's say we have this ID, so we'll copy its ID, go to the next API, that is post API, paste your ID here, object ID here, and it will be posted to delete. It's a post function, and let's clear the uh, let's clear the console. So now from here send this request, so our only document should also get deleted. That document is also deleted, so acknowledge this true and delete count is 1. That means one element has been deleted. Now if we go to get request and if we send the get request, we won't get this object also. Okay, so this is an empty object. Okay, we didn't got that document. Now let's, so this is how we have implemented our delete functionality also. Now let's add our, now let's integrate our front end with our backend, as currently they both are completely different thing. So we want our front end to interact with our backend so that we can create a real working solution. So open the front end and in here install Axios. So npm install Axios, which we will use to send requests to our backend. Okay, so Axios is now installed. Now let's go to create to do component and import Axios here. So import Axios from Axios, and on submitting the form, we want a post request to go to our backend and add the data to our database. So the right place to add our post request is here. So here we will say Axios dot post, and our backend is at location http colon slash slash localhost colon 3000, sorry, 4000 slash to dos slash add. This is the location where it is looking for adding to do items, and it needs to do items in the JSON format. So create a new object. So const new to do is equals to a JSON object which will have property to do underscore description as description. Come on, description. It will have to do underscore responsible as responsible, to do underscore priority as priority, and to do underscore completed as completed. Okay, now we have got this object. We will send this object to our backend. So new to do, because this is what our backend is expecting to add it to our database. And after that we will have, then response will be console dot log res dot data. Okay, so now let's go to our browser. First of all, let's run our app. So here we have to say npm start. So it will start our front end app on our browser. So now we have to go to create location, create path, create, and from here let's click on F12 so that we can see if there is some error. These are not required. And now let's type a description is this is a description of to-do list item, and responsible is, let's say, Divasraj Vimal. Priority is, let's say, high, and let's send this data to our backend. Make sure you have your backend running. So click send. To do added successfully, and this is our form data, and this is the response which we have got from our backend. Okay, now let's go to our postman and see if it is actually added to our database or not. So go to our postman, and from here send a get request to your to dos, and we should get our data, our document. Okay, so we have got our document. So the document has been successfully saved on MongoDB. That's fine. That's awesome. Now let's move further. Now let's complete our implementation of to-do list component so that we can display our items. So let's add this, remove this, and right here to-do list items. And down here, let's create a table. Table will have table head, and table head will have table row as table heading will be, first of all we will have description, then we will have responsible, then we will have priority, then we will have action. Okay, now our table row is completed. Let's go to table body, t body, and in here we will display our component one by one. So for that we need to create our component. So first of all, let's import use state from React, and in here const to do items, set to do items will be equals to use state, and initial state will be an empty array. After that, we also want to import Axios. So import Axios from Axios. What we want to have is the component. So to do will be equals to props, and it will have table row, table data. Table data will be props dot. So it will be to do dot to do underscore description, and after that we want table data as props dot dot to do underscore responsible, and we want table data as props dot to do underscore priority, and one more thing, table data props dot to do completed, to do underscore completed. Okay, so this is our component, and on component did mount. So along with use state, we also want use effect in our functions. So we will say use effect, and it will run a function whenever whenever it will render first time. So for that we are passing this empty array, and this will be called whenever it will render for first time. So what do we want to do when we render for the first time? We want to have a get request to our backend to fetch all the data and put it into our empty array so that it can fill the array, and then later on we can use that array to render our component one by one. Okay, so let's axios dot get location is http colon slash slash local host colon 3000 slash to do's slash. So this is the location from where we want to get our data, and then after getting the data we will have response. So we will say handle. Now we want to say is set to do item to be equal to response dot data. Okay, so this will fill our array with the response data. So our array is filled now. Let's have a catch block also. Catch err console dot log err. Okay, if there is some error, then we will console log that error. So till now what we have done is we have created our component, we have created our state, we have used the use effect to get the data, and now we want to call a to-do list function. It's to-do list function. Now inside that we will say return what is the to-do item. To-do item dot function to do items dot map. Inside that we will have a function. It will say current to do with a I, and we will return a component which will be to do, and inside that we will pass to do equals to current to do and key equals to I. Okay, now we will call this inside our body. So here to do list, and that's it. We got some error. Why? Okay, that's it. Now I think it should work perfectly fine now. So if we go to our browser and go to our React app, let's control refresh and go to our this root description. What happened? Axios error request will be status code 404. Bad request. Why? What happened? To do slash not found. Localhost is, oh sorry, it was 4000, not 3000. It was 4000. Okay, so now let's again refresh. What happened? I think the server is also running, app is also running. Did we got any error? So for that, let's console log our from here. We will console.log to do items what what it gives. So it has given me a array. Array is length is 0. Okay, so now let's again retry, and we have got array with the 0 element instead of. Why? Also we didn't got the design. Uh, so here we have to add something. Table will have a class name of table, table dash script, and style will be margin top of 20. Now let's go back to our browser and see. Okay, so we have got the design, but the array of object, and what we are doing is we are storing that as our, yeah, it should get stored, right? So guys, finally after so much of debugging, this has worked, and as you can see here, when I refresh, it is showing our description. This is a description of to-do list item, the Sajimal, I edit. When I click on edit, it will go to edit page, and let's click on that. So we haven't created our edit page till now. So let's refresh and go back to our home page. And now I will show you what is the changes I have done so that you can also come with me. So this is how the code looks now. I have added link here, use effect here, and here I have added the edit to do edit data, and I have returned this component from here. So make sure you also return. And after that, I have set to do item as response.data, and this is 4000. I actually initially wrote 3000, so it was not working. And when it loads for the first time, we will get all the data, and whenever to do item get updated, we will again render the list. Okay, and we will also console log that. So after that, we have a to-do list item which maps our all of the items to do component, and here we have t body, and if t to do item dot length is greater than 0, then only we will call our function as we will say loading. Okay, this is what I have done till now. Now let's also add delete functionality. So let's duplicate this, and here we'll say delete, and here we will pass id, and we will say here delete, and we will pass this id to here. So for that we need this to be these, and dollar, and control v props dot this. Okay, now save. Now let's go back to our control refresh. So this is our to-do list for now, and when we click on delete, it will delete, and when we refresh and go back to our home page, we won't see anything. So we got something. So that means that didn't work. So why that didn't work is because we will see later on that why it didn't work. But now, yeah, we are rendering it perfectly. That's cool. So I have added some more items from our slash create path, and this is what it looks like. If I go again and add some more items, let's say buy island for $1 million, who is responsible, Mr. Beast. And priority is, let's say, low, and create to do. And if we go back to our home, now it will be added here by island for $1 million, who is responsible, Mr. Beast. Priority is low, and yeah, we can later on click on edit and delete, but we haven't implemented them, so we will see them next. Okay, so now I have made some changes here, so I will show you just those changes. So this to do item, here I have added to do completed, and I am adding class only when it is completed. Okay, so when a task is completed, we will add this class completed, which is inside index.css here. So whenever we add this class to any text object, it will it will add text declaration as line through. Okay, so only for these three. After that, here I think I haven't made any. Okay, yeah. In this added to do, this is the handle function for the checkbox. So here, set completed will be e.target.checked. Okay, not value. And after that, it will get saved. So these are the two changes I have made, and it looks now okay to me. So when I control refresh, so okay, get servicing of card done. Let's edit this. So let's say responsible is now Babu Rao, and priority is now high, and completed is completed. Okay, let's click on create to do. Okay, so it has get servicing of card done by Babu Rao. Priority was high, and it is completed. That's why it is checked. If I go to edit and I remove this, okay, so completed is not rendering here. So we have to go back to our front end, front end. and while it is, so if it is completed, then checked will be completed. Okay, now let's see. Okay, it's done. So if you open the browser, so it was completed, that's why it is completed. Now let's remove this and click on, oh, we have to change its button name. So now let's, as you can see, this is now again uh, added to do, that is line remove. If I click on completed again and click on create to do, it will again cross line through. Okay, now let's remove this from others also, and let's rename our button to update. So here, update item. Now this is okay. Update item. So this is our to-do list till now. We have to implement the delete functionality. Okay, so now we can also delete our items. So when we click on delete button, it deletes, and then we have to refresh. I will add the refresh logic also. And as you can see here, we have deleted our item. So let's go back to our code and I will tell you what are the changes I have. So first of all, here I have added a button. So input, type submit, on click, I have added a function and handle delete, value will be delete and class name is button primary. So on handle delete, when we click on that button, I have created this function here. So handle delete, console logging the the item ID, and I am sending a post request to Axios on our backend server with our prop.todo ID. And when we get the response, we will say console log item deleted. If we get some error, then we will pass that error and we will console log that error. Okay. So this is how we have to implement the delete functionality. Now we'll show you the backend. So in backend, our delete route looks something like this. To do route.delete hash ID. So in the parameter we have to pass the ID and we will then send delete request. So after that we have request dot response. Then we have to do dot delete one with the delete ID item ID, and we will just console log the result and send the result. So this is how our delete functionality is working. Okay, so as now our front end and back end is now integrated, so it's time to make our app look good. So I will just add some stylings to our app. So this is how our app after styling looks like. So here we have a good background color. Here we have the add button. So if we click on this button, we get option to add a to do item. So let's add the item. Subscribe to tag creators. Now responsible is viewer, you, and my priority is very high. Okay. Now, if you see here, subscribe to tech creators is added. Responsible is you. You are responsible. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and the priority is very high. Okay. Now you can edit it. So if you have subscribed, then you can click on completed, updated item. And after that, yes, you have subscribed. Now you can remove this. So yeah, it's gone. So this is the functionality which we have achieved after doing all of the things. Now let me show you the whole code. So this is our front end. So let's go line by line. So index.js has this code. There is no changes. In app.js there is I think I think there is no changes. Okay, and in index.css we have only this code. You can just copy and paste it into your code because designing takes very much time and I'm not that much good in design, so that's why I didn't recorded it. But yeah, I will show you all the code so that you also get that result which I have. Okay, app.css has this code. Okay, now let's go to to-do list.js. So in to-do list.js we have these libraries. So We have React icons installed, React icons, and here is the color scheme. So in color scheme, we have a contrast color, and the variation is very hard. Color scheme dot color, okay, colors. Now from here we get a array, okay. So when we get that array, what we want to do is we want to. So here we have the colors, and this is the to do item. So here we are, when we are deleting the element, so we are requesting to delete the element, and after deleting the element, then we will get a promise. So we will resolve that promise, and after resolving that promise, we will send a get request to get the updated list. And after getting the updated list, we refresh our browser to render the updated list. And here we have a catch block to catch or any error which we might have. And here is the color at index 0. Maybe we need this color, or I have used this color or not, I don't know. I think I have used this previously, but later on I removed that because I was not getting the results which I wanted. So yeah, maybe you can just remove this part, because I have used the colors in hard coded way. So background color is this, and our link, our edit option color is this, and this is our delete item option color. And after that, we have to do items array. We have use effect, so when it will run for the first time as soon as we launch the browser, and it will always gets rendered whenever there is some change in to do items, okay. So that is to do list, and here we are passing the current to do item inside this. And here is the link, table has table head, description, responsibility, priority, action, and the body is to do length dot item. If it is greater than 0, that means we have some items in our to do list, then just render this function, call this function. If we don't have, then we will render add items, so that user can get to know that they have to add the item. And after that, we are adding a link to create a link for a create button. So here is the button to create new item, and this is its color, this is its size, this is in pixel, okay. This is to do list. Then go to edit to do. So edit to do also has some little changes, I guess. You can see the whole code from here. Handle submit, I'll just explain it. So here are the 4 states which we will be using, and the id is a string, and use effect. So from the URL we are getting the id, and for that id just we are setting all the states. So with the description, responsible, priority, and completed. If there is any error, then we will catch that error. This will run for the first time as soon as the browser is started. That's why empty array. And handle submit will be called when we are we are inside here. So the heading will be added to do item. Form will have a on submit function of handle submit, which is here, which I talked about. So we will prevent the default actions. We'll console all the values, and we will update to do with all. We'll create a object with all of these values, and URL we will get from the window.location.href, and axios.post will be post to this id which we got from the URL, and we will pass this item which we created here, this object. And after getting the response, getting the promise, we will resolve that promise, and we will console log its data, and we will just go back to our home route after 1 second, okay, automatically. Set handle description is setting the description of our state. This is setting our state, our value of responsible in our state, priority. This is setting, and this is setting completed. You can see here it is target dot checked, not value, okay. So make sure you are also using checked. And if you go right, we have input, we have input of for description, we have input for responsible, We have form group for radio buttons. These are all three radio buttons: low, medium, and high priority. And after that we have a completed button, completed checkbox. So here is a checkbox. And after that we have a submit button. So it's a type submit, value is update item, button class name is button primary. Okay, so this is what our edit to do item looks like. Now go to create to do. So in create to do, this is what we have. So if we go from here, we have a heading, we have a handle submit function. Handle submit function is just doing the same things, creating a new object with those values which we put in the form. And after that, posting it to the to our backend server with this endpoint, and new to do item is being passed. That is the object. And after that, we are console logging the promise, resolving the promise, and console logging the data. And we are just resetting our all the all the state to their default values. And here we are using handle set description to set the description, to set the responsibility, and to set the priority. After that, here we have same things again, responsible for three input, and then here we have a submit button. Okay, we don't have yet a completed button because it's a create to do form, not a edit to do form. Okay, so that's it. And let's have a look in the backend server, backend code. So in backend we have two files, that is server.js and to do model.js. So this is our to do model.js looks like. This is how we are storing the data. Description is a string, responsible is a string, priority is a string, and completed is a boolean. Okay, we are creating the model and we are just importing the model in here. Here it is. Port is 4000. Make sure you also put the port 4000. And this is function to connect to MongoDB. So mongoose.connect device. Here you will pass your password. And I have removed it because I just changed it. Okay. So you can put your password here, which you put in the MongoDB while creating the user. And we have a default route where we will just when we will send a get request, we will respond with to all the to-dos items. So to do dot find, and here we have ID. So whenever we want a element, we want a item with, but we want a particular item, we will come to this route by giving some ID here. So we will find that ID, and we will find the item with that ID, and we will respond. We will send the response. And here we have update. So update get request response, find by ID. And here if we didn't find any item, then we will say data is not available. If we found, then we will set its data. So to do description, responsibility, priority will be which we got from our request, and we will say to do dot save. After saving, we get to do updated. If there was some error, then we will say update not possible. And we have add for add route. So here add route have a to do request dot body. So it will add a new item to our to do collection, and we will say to do dot save, and after saving we will say to do added successfully with response status of 200. If there was some error, we will say 400. Adding new to do item failed. And we have delete item, so we give pass the ID here. And after, this is a async function, make sure you check that because it might take time to delete some item, and we don't want to console log or send response before it has completed its functionality. So that's why async await. And to do the delete one, I did with that ID which you got from the browser, from the URL. And after deleting, we send the response. Here we have our server started on port, the port that is 4000, and use routes is to do's, use body pass, and use cloud. Okay, so this is our backend. And yeah, that's it. This is the whole code which we need to make this application work. I hope you like this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more future projects, more interesting projects. This tutorial might not be that much great, but yeah, surely I will improve in the future and you will get better projects. And I hope you learn something new from this video. If you learn something new, do like and subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.